Hello, hello, and welcome back to Let's Do 52. All right, so we are working on Violet Blues, prompt number 3 for January. And I'm working just in a cheap, basic Canson mixed media journal here. I really just feel like getting some blue tones, violet tones down on some paper, making a little bit of a mess. There's no direction. I have no vision at all in my head, really. It's cold, very, very frigid cold here in Virginia Beach area, like 20. That's ridiculous. That doesn't really happen here. So you can see by the layers I have on that it's just chilly today. And some days, some prompts, some time in our art books, our art journals is really just for experimenting. And so I have, that silicone kind of spatula, and I do love using them. I just keep them kind of hidden away and forget about them. So I wanted to use that today. I wanted to play. I'm using basic acrylics. I'm using high flow acrylic. I'm using just every different type of blue that I can find. I am going to speed this up a bit just because there's no teaching on this part. It really is just laying down. And at first I thought I was going to want some white showing through, but then I kind of just felt the white needed to be covered more. You saw I add a little bit of the magenta, and now I have some matte medium there and some of just my papers from my stash. Now, I have high flow acrylic down that pink especially and a couple other ones. When I touch my paintbrush to that high flow acrylic, it's going to smear right on top of my paper. So I'm trying to avoid that a little bit. I want to just get um, my layers down. The other thing, the paper that I'm tearing right there, it's actually a sheet of deli paper. I buy a whole box from Amazon. It is one of my favorite things. And, with my jelly plates, just do some printing. That's oftentimes can be a whole day in my studio. I'll link a video to some just jelly plate play. They're always good to have just for another layer. And this journal entry, a lot of times when you decide just to use a color in your journal for the day, or just your daily art making, and you're using a color, sometimes it's all about the layers. Just keep layering and layering and layering. Um, just to kind of, you know, enjoy the process, enjoy making kind of a little bit of a mess and problem solving and putting pieces down and seeing what you like and what looks good to you, what feels right. It without a finished piece in mind, our creativity is allowed to just kind of really flow. Now, here I picked up some of that fuchsia and I liked it, so I wanted to make sure I kind of spread that throughout some places. Here's just some other pieces of paper I want to kind of just put on and down. I know that the uh, camera isn't the best. I do have a piece of scrap paper underneath what I'm working on top of my table, just because I didn't want to stain anything with the inks. Uh, Typically, I try to find something a little more attractive, but this is a good spot. It's good to have scrap paper underneath what you're working on. And so again, just kind of keep layering there. I know my water soluble materials, and that's another thing that you work through when doing a project like this is you get to learn your art supplies that you have in your stash and what works, what doesn't, what is going to bleed or run. and go with that. So here I have my Neo colors. Um, these two are water soluble. I love them. I am not left-handed. Um, but I am using my left hand. I'm using my non-dominant hand to kind of just make some marks, some squiggles, some circles. When we use our opposite hand, our non-dominant hand, it allows for a little bit more freedom. It works the other side of our brain. It kind of gives us a break. It's like a little brain break to kind of just get in there. It also releases us from perfectionism, which is something that we don't want when we're just kind of mark making and playing in our journals. All right. I do use like a violet. I've got this is a pretty bold indigo blue kind of color. And then I have this one, this chubbier one is called a Woody Stabilo crayon. They were originally made for elementary students way back in the day. They're nice, big, chunky crayon, but they too are water soluble. So if you hit that with a wet paintbrush, you're going to get some good runny action. But these are so much fun. Sometimes I like to heat them up a little bit and it gets it really sticky. That's why the tip of this one is a little bit um disformed, like has like kind of a little flat spot to it, but I love the marks that it makes. Nothing's perfect here. I don't want a perfect circle. I don't want a perfect square. I really want like that scribbled mark making finality here. Okay, so then again, some of the white spots were just really, did, my eye just kept going to these white spaces. So, what better for another layer than my watercolors? So, I'm digging in here into just some different blues and violets and purples and filling in some of those spaces and layering watercolor. Watercolor is a great way just to add another layer to our pages. So, filling in the white space, which was bothering me first, kind of creating spaces as I can watch my eye bounce around, step away from your piece, look at it from a different angle, um, and kind of fill in those spaces to bounce around. Now, splatter is another one of my favorite techniques. It adds again another layer, but it adds interest, texture, and diversity to our pages. And here I'm allowed to, kind of go with that deep, dark diaxam purple, but then I can add in some magenta. Then I just went to my bits box and I found some things to kind of put in the front of my page. Um, I don't know why this watercolored heart, and then I had some wings. I have all kinds of bits and pieces in my bits box. Um, and I guess I'm just kinda decided to go a little bit with a heart theme. I'm grabbing more water-soluble crayons, making little hearts, lines, stripes, marks, in a few different colors, but all within the blue-violet tones. Um, just lines, dots, scribbles. Find your marks that you love to make. This type of a project is one of the great things that really pushes us out of our tight, controlled type A personalities and lets us kind of just be free. That was a white Posca pen there. I want to add more white now that I have all that dark background, but I added that lighter colored heart there. I just felt like these stamped words would be really great. Now, this is a stamp that I have. It is one of those big, like 4x6 stamps, and it has all those words. And I just cut some out and decided to put those down, a little matte medium, and then grabbing the white Posca pen again because it looked like I didn't want them just sitting there. I kind of wanted to tie the words to the page. And so the white Posca pen kind of is going to help uh, anchor those cutouts to my page. And again, this is all just play. Experimenting and seeing what I like or what works, what doesn't work is why we dig into our journals. It's why we use a prompt, right? Some of us, some of you, I should say, might be wonderful watercolor artists and you just grab the prompt that I give you each week and you're able to put that into watercolor. Or you're a sewer and a stitcher and you're able to put it on a bookmark. Or you're a mixed media artist and you just love to have all these different backgrounds and you're able to add that prompt easily to a set, maybe ATC, artist trading card or an index card or a little inchy. Whatever it is, however you're tackling this 52 weeks of prompts, the challenge, let's do 52. Um, you know, y- you you may be one of those people that is just playing every week. Like, let me just experiment in this journal, this art journal, this junk journal, these scrap pieces of paper I have. Let me just kind of go a little off the wall, a little bit different, and see what I can come up with. And so, practicing some handwriting, seeing how the Posca pen works. Of course, I'm over that art or the acrylic ink, so it's bleeding, it's picking, it's making my white Posca pen pink, magenta. That's okay. It's all good. This is not fine art. This is fun art. This is playing with prompts and getting in 20 minutes of art time. I hope you enjoyed it. Have fun.